Alright guys, my name is MetaGoblin, and today I was making a quick discussion video talking about whether Classic WoW should release content faster. So it's important to note guys that I wouldn't take this video too seriously, we're just having a friendly discussion about this topic. There's no need for you to stalk me on Facebook and send me death threats like somebody did the last time I made an opinionated video. I'm just a nerd on the internet, there's no need to take my opinions and my voice very seriously on this topic. All I would encourage you to do is just discuss it calmly and peacefully in the comment section below, and let's not have any horrible negative name calling and just general toxicity like that, because at the end of the day, it's just we're just having a calm discussion, and let's get on with it. Just before we jump in guys, please do make a quick follow on Twitch if you want to catch any of my live streams. If you end up liking the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. So the question in mind, and a big question that is probably playing on a lot of people's minds by now, is Classic WoW releasing content fast enough? Okay, I think there's a big issue with Classic WoW compared to Vanilla WoW. When Vanilla WoW was out, obviously there was a small portion of the population playing the game were actually level 60, so they're actually able to experience the end-game content. People were just generally a lot worse at the game. They wouldn't clear raids as fast, whereas now Classic WoW's been released, when was Molten Core finished? Was it finished in the first 2 weeks of launch of the game? The content, because we have so much experience playing the game, people have been playing private servers, we know all the tactics, we just basically know absolutely everything about Classic WoW. We know all the best in slot gear, we know the best in slot stat priority, we know the best talent builds, we know absolutely everything. So clearing the content in Classic WoW is ridiculously fast and easy, okay? I'm pretty bored, not gonna lie, I'm pretty bored of Molten Core. I get bored of raids pretty quickly anyway, to be honest, but, I've probably cleared Molten Core 5 times now, and that's probably not a lot, to be honest. I probably cleared it more than that. I don't really keep count. I think the issue is that a lot of people are just simply, getting a bit burnt out on Classic pretty quickly. A lot of streamers have talked about this as well, and particularly if your server is dominated by the opposite faction, where it becomes very difficult for you to do content other than the actual raids, because if I wanted to go and do Dire Maul or Upper Blackrock Spire right now, it would be literally impossible. If I look at the chat right now, there aren't any groups going for Dire Maul or Upper Blackrock Spire, because I know it's just kind of like a lost cause. In fact, there's one Black BRD group, but that's about it. So it's very difficult to clear content. It's even difficult to level alts on my server, so I think this is why a lot of people are gradually quitting the game. So I think the issue is obviously that I think content isn't releasing fast enough. I think because we already know so much about the game, we are automatically going to clear the content a lot faster, which means I think that the content should come out a little bit faster than it does. And to be honest, I think the content is coming out a little bit faster. We've had Phase 2 coming out and Battlegrounds coming out probably sooner than they originally did in Vanilla, in order to keep the, obviously to keep people interested in the game. But I think going forward, we do probably need Phase 3 or Blackwing Lead to come out sooner rather than later. And this is, you may think, watching this video, you're just a millennial, you have a short attention span, you should be patient, yada yada yada, which is a fair enough opinion. But I think the issue is, from a economical standpoint, if I was CEO of Blizzard, if I was in charge of a Classic WoW team, I would be releasing content faster for the sake of keeping the population high in the game, and for the sake of actually making money. I think it would make financial sense to release content a little bit faster in Classic WoW, because, like I said, we're clearing the content faster, the content's easier, we know everything about it, we're just going to burn through it much faster. So I feel like it does need to come out a little bit faster, probably 50% faster. If we're going to give a time frame, if each phase comes out every 4 or 5 months, it should probably be every 2 to 3 months that a new phase of content should come out. What I want to quickly talk about is a Wrath of the Lich King server I played previous to when Classic WoW was launched, and it's a very popular server. It's called Omega WoW. It's an American Wrath of the Lich King server. I think it got over 1,000 plays at its peak. And what it basically did is it was a fast progression server. It should have been faster, to be honest, because Classic WoW was the ultimate thing that kind of killed that server. But they released all the Wrath of the Lich King content in a year. So normally an expansion lasts about 2 years, but they released all the content for Wrath of the Lich King in 1 year. and it felt great. Like, content was coming out so fast. The second you were starting to get bored of the raids and you were like messing about doing PvP, you had a new raid coming out, or you had a new raid announced, which kept you motivated to carry on playing. Like, oh well, you know, Trial of the Crusaders coming out in like just you know, under a month. May as well carry on playing and, you know, farming some gear. Just sometimes the knowledge of the next phase of content coming out would keep you playing. The fact that we don't really have that much, you know, Classic WoW is the reason why I think a lot of people are getting, like I said, burnt out and quitting the game. But like, I'm not saying the entirety of Classic WoW content should release in 1 year, because I know a lot of people probably would be aggravated by that, but I think probably at least a year and a half would be a good time frame to release all the Classic WoW content, and then obviously progress into releasing kind of TBC content, because people are going to get bored of vanilla pretty quickly. I think someone's just waving at me then. Oh, nice. It's nice to be recognised in game. Anyway, just wanted to add a quick note here. As you can probably see by the background footage, I am obviously playing on the Wrath of Lich King server, just playing it very casually in my free time, you know, a couple hours a day, and I am really enjoying it. And what I'm noticing is, for one, there's more people online in my guild on this private server than there are actually on Classic WoW, and the population seems to be gradually increasing for this server. And I think a lot of the reason why I've been talking to a few people in my guild and in world chat and stuff, and it seems like a lot of people are basically, the reason why they've come to play this private server is because they're getting a little bit bored of Classic WoW. So that is just another thing to bear in mind. Again, if I was like the CEO of Blizzard, leader of a Classic WoW team, or the legacy team, if we can call it that, I would be releasing the content a little bit faster. The only reason why content released so slow when the game, you know, the content was originally coming out in vanilla, TBC and all that, is literally because of development timeframes. Okay, there's a time restriction by the fact that they actually had to develop the content. Now the content has been developed. Ideally, they, you know, Blizzard probably would like to release the content faster because they don't need to develop it. The only reason why they're releasing content so slow when it was originally coming out is because it took time to develop, right? And then they had limited resources, particularly in like expansions like Wall of Zadrana. I think they had patch 5.3 for like an entire year, so stuff like that was pretty horrendous. In every content patch, there's always like 1 to 2 months of total drought where people are logging into the game less. Just, you know, they're playing different games, or they're messing about leveling alts and not really doing anything, you know, in the sense of progressing your character. So, but the thing is, like, obviously on retail, there's probably a little bit less of that because there's different difficulties. You know, you can progress into heroic. Well, you don't really progress into heroic, do you? You can do heroic straight away, but you progress into mythic, and mythic is an extremely challenging raid content that can keep you interested in the game for, you know, for a very long time, because it's so difficult to actually, you know, deal with. Whereas Classic WoW, its difficulty is, you know, slightly different, but at the end of the day, like I said before, we've already cleared the vanilla raids. We already know everything that we have to do, so it is a lot less challenging, which means we are simply going to burn through this content much faster. We are going to get bored of it faster. So in my opinion, I think Blizzard should release the content a little bit faster, even if they're just releasing it 50% faster. Probably not twice as fast, because that would irritate a lot of people. I think the content would come out too fast for people, but it should be coming out a little bit faster, 50% faster. You know, all the content for vanilla should be out in a good like year and a half. Naxxramas should be out, you know, so vanilla came out, well sorry, Classic came out 27th of August, wasn't it? 26th sometime. So I think like next year, Christmas, Naxxramas should be out. So basically a year from now almost. Or probably, no, sorry, it'd be like a year in spring time. I think like Naxxramas should be out, and that would be a good time for him, in my opinion, to keep people very engrossed and invested and interested in the game. And I would announce next year, I would probably announce, maybe not next year, like next summer. So in a year half a year from now, I would announce Burning Crusade to keep people interested in this whole, you know, legacy aspect of the game. That's personally what I would do, and that, to be fair, that is I think that is my, you know, strong prediction. I think that probably will happen, and if it doesn't happen, I'll be quite surprised if it doesn't, because at the end of the day, that makes the most financial sense. The amount of money that Blizzard have made from re-releasing vanilla has been ridiculous, and it's probably barely cost them any money. They probably had absolutely no running costs because they didn't have to pay people to develop the game. They just had to re-release the game and slap a new name tag on it, classic, and instead of vanilla WoW. And they're probably making some serious bank. And it would make some serious bank if they, released the content faster, kept people interested in classic WoW, and again announced TBC sooner rather than later, in about half a year's time. And then obviously maybe even announce like a more long-term plan to release, like like a long-term plan of releasing more legacy servers. Like, we're going to release TBC this year, and we are going to work on Wrath of the Lich King, we are going to work on Cataclysm, that kind of thing. Or, to be honest, when it starts to, like, if Wrath of the Lich King comes out, I think at that point, like, not a lot of people are heavily invested in Cataclysm, not a lot of people really want to play Cataclysm, to be honest. I think the population again would probably drop off pretty quickly. So, by then, I think they really should start developing a new MMO rather than developing the retail game. We should really work on a new MMO, a new IP, something new and interesting, in all honesty. But anyway, that's just my opinion. As I do think Shadowlands should be the last expansion, to be honest. I think the game has gone on for too long now, and it depends how good Shadowlands is going to be, but it's probably not going to be. Unless they totally... I feel like Shadowlands is going to be a massive revamp, in all honesty, but I feel like it has to be revamped even more ruthlessly than what Shadowlands is going to achieve, i.e. removing Dungeon Finder, removing Raid Finder, and removing a lot of the horrible game mechanics like that. At that point you're probably better off just developing a new MMO, to be honest. Anyway, went on a tangent a little bit at the end there, but whatever. My name is the Metagoblin. To my next video, ciao.